Local vigilance area today. We're already well into a hike. I was going to film the way back to save battery on the camera. It's turning out not to be the hike I expected because something seems to be blowing in. I just went from an area where there's like no wind to like a lot of wind, like 20-mile-an-hour winds just started kicking up. So I may have to call this hike if it gets Widowmaker happy in here. So, but in the meantime, it's kind of a neat stretch of wood, so I am gonna film the hike if the Charming camera will stop tilting. Kind of a bug in the firmware or something. Anyway, I'm gonna go down this hill and then I think I may know where I am. And if I connect that far, then I'm probably good with that. Other than that, this is basically going to end up being a trail ramble today, only because that's basically what I don't really know the bushwhackable parts of this stretch of woods that well. I haven't been through here in a couple of years. So, rather than get lost and embarrass myself, I'm going to stay on the trail today. You've had some plotters or somebody come through here at some point because there's a lot of evidence of that. All right, now where does the trail go? Because there's something down across it. A down tree the trail's still obvious, it just that tree's in the way. But, okay. Okay, it has started lightly raining too, but quadding looks actually fairly recent. This is actually kind of a creepy stretch of woods, actually. Like, it's neat from a geological standpoint. You got all like things like this where you got the tree over there growing out of the rock and neat stuff like that. If you're into that kind of thing. It's just kind of a bummer. I got to keep an eye on the weather now. I don't remember this trail being this long either. But I mean, I more or less know where it comes out, but I hadn't gone all the way through here in a while. Muddy too. Like I was saying before, the other interesting thing, other than the wind, no birds, no nothing right now. It is deadpan quiet, other than me yapping. So, the quadders have done a good job of making this a muddy crap hole right here, though. Thanks for that, gentlemen. I'm assuming you're gentlemen. But the trail's becoming a tad less obvious in the leaves. Well, you get like all kinds of gnarled stuff like this in here too, so it is kind of a neat place in here. Very Halloween friendly, if you get my drift. So, figure it might be neat just to get a little bit of video of this. You got this big hanging log there. So, let's see. I'm going to make a prediction, and I'm going to come back and do this. I'm going to do this hike in the winter. And when it gets all quiet in the winter, something tells me that's going to be creepy as hell. $10. It's like all inclusive in here, but there's no bird sounds, anything. Really kind of freaking creepy in here. Yesterday I was in the Five Bogs in Vermont, and not really with anything to show for it. There wasn't any real signs of activity. The wind is starting to concern me though in this. So we're gonna do a quick segment break. And we're back. 1 second, everybody. Yeah, so as far as yesterday goes, I was up there and didn't really have any luck at all. I basically found some deer tracks, and that was about it. Otherwise, it was a good day out. Scenery was cool, but that was about all the day amounted to. But it was a nice day because you had like that mountain fog hanging over the fall colors, which is, I mean, just going up for the scenery alone is worth it on that note. But now we're down here today in the gnarled witchy woods of the Connecticut-Mass border, and I kid you not, there is literally like deadpan silence in here, other than my yapping and the plane flying overhead there to ruin the mood, but whatever. But this is just like me and the wind in here. Yeah, it's getting all hilly again. I did a live stream before. I was thinking about whether I should do that, but one, I don't want to drain the phone completely. I don't think I have a full battery on it, and two, just in case some tree did come down or something did happen, you want to cover your bases. But okay, that was like a tree that was about to come down. That doesn't sound good. But trying to make my way through the quatters that have come through here have made another muddy patch. And it's slippery in there, so I got to kind of walk around it. Of course, I didn't wear my better boots today, too. I have my lighter ones on because I figured it'd just be a trail hike. This trail's a little bit more, because the quatters have dug into it a bit, it's a little bit more tricky in some places than expected. But they have done a bit of a number on this thing. Anyway, a little bit of dirt came up. I guess we'll cover some Bigfootery too, I guess. Some allegations were raised against the person in charge. I'll leave names out of it so they don't get pulled into any kind of nonsense with that. But the person who runs the Ohio Bigfoot Conference was accused by somebody in a group, I'll leave names out of that too, basically accusing him of using other people's content and making money off it, which is kind of as a creator of video myself, it's one of the reasons why, for better or for worse or indifferent, I do my own shooting. I do all my own stuff because that way there's little to no question that it's mine and that's it. And it just seems like a couple times this week something like this has come up. and people start playing games with copyright, which is a ugly little mistress in bed to begin with. And I have to say, it's amazing how many people that get embroiled in things like that. Okay, so much for the deadpan silence. I keep expecting a flurry of Halloween bats to come out at me. But the thing is, it's amazing how many people don't understand how copyright law works. And we'll start there. Copyright law, when it comes to content creation, is pretty straightforward. If you made it, you own it. And that's pretty much the case in the US, Canada, Western Europe anyway. Probably like Australia and New Zealand too. May vary in other countries where culture varies. I don't know how that works, but basically the way it works, you write a song, you draw a painting, you draw a picture, paint a painting, write a song, something, something, something. If you do nothing in the way of selling rights to an outside party through a written contract, that creation, that created content is yours. No ifs, no ands, no buts. Anyone trying to claim it as their own, and you wrote it, they are nothing more than a common thief. So, where things get murky is when you get into subject matters where, I'm going to use an example, again, I'm going to leave names out of it, but a couple of years ago, a party in Canada versus the US started selling t-shirts based on a picture that he had commissioned from an artist in the States. And that artist came back at him and said that wasn't part of the contract. The person from Canada incorrectly stated back that it is quote unquote my property and I can do whatever the hell I want with it. Unfortunately, he is incorrect. The contract that was signed, if it does not allow specifically for doing that kind of thing and selling reproductions of it, it's an act of theft or breach of contract or something in that range, just so we're clear. And the two cases that popped up this week, you've got somebody accusing the head of the Ohio Conference of using video content that's not their own. And if this is true, notice I'm not taking sides or throwing out accusations. If this is true, then yes, that person is stealing content. It's plagiarism or something in that range, and could go to court and cost that person a lot of money if the other person can make their case. He's definitely going to take a hit in his reputation if this is proven true anyway. So the other case is it involves a conference, and one party was a speaker at the conference, and the other party is person who is running the group that ran the conference. Just to give context, not to really throw anything more than context into the situation, but so they posted a bunch of videos up on the group's YouTube channel, and that inherited a copyright strike from one of the speakers who's claiming ownership of the videos. And it seems like the story is that that speaker created the videos himself, the group's logo on it. That's the way the story is being told from one party, claiming it's his. And you have no contract. This is where things get murky because it's his. Plain and simple. If he is the content creator, then in spite of the fact you plastered, on the other hand, pardon my allergies, they have some kind of an agreement where they were going to share the content because it's their conference and he's shooting for them, but they had some kind of a gentleman's agreement where they agreed to share the content or something, and now somebody's reneging on that. That's where things get murky. And I guess what happened is that the speaker filed a copyright strike on the group's channel for the use of the video. And if he shot the video and there's no contract, then he's got a valid claim. On the other hand, if he had some kind of an agreement with the other party and then they're backing out on it, that's more of a, you know, the murk is there for that. So that's one where you need more information to get the full context of the situation. That one I could see going either way. The first example is a simple matter where if the guy is stealing content and using it for his own, that's plagiarism, plain and simple, and theft, and could open up some legal problems. The other one is a little bit more murky without more information to lend context to the situation. So we don't have the whole story for that one, but it does make for interesting things to watch. With the last situation though, the group and the speaker, where you get into some real murkiness too, is that this is a copyright strike and a counterclaim that was made by the leader of the group within the context of the YouTube algorithm mechanism. So how that's going to play out is anyone's guess, because that's not going to court in law. That's not definable law. That's algorithms and AI and a much less than perfect system than you would have, that you would hope to have to resolve things like this. But that one will be interesting to see how that goes. But that's the thing. So there have been other past examples too. One good example is the Claus photo, where one party, and again we'll leave names out of it for the sake of keeping the mess out of it, but the person claimed a copyright, and I did actually go to the copyright office for the federal government, and I did verify this person actually did file copyright, even though they, one, did not take the photo and freely admitted to this, and two, never demonstrated any kind of a contract where the other party signed off their rights to it. So by all appearances, that party had absolutely no right to do what they did. They had no copyright claim whatsoever, and in fact committed an act of federal fraud. And are probably very lucky they didn't get into hot water for that. My theory on that one, though, is, and this is the popular theory, was that it was a promotional film, a promotional photo for a B-rated sci-fi movie, and this person's shenanigans with the photo might have actually served as viral marketing. So they actually let the person play the role in that capacity and let the situation evolve, because it was helping their overall bottom line with get the movie's awareness out there. So there's that. I'm going to stop for a second because there's a neat little stick formation or thing over here. Hold on. If you can see that over there. But yeah, copyright is an ugly little mistress that you don't want to really get too deeply involved in if you're in the wrong, because it can burn you quite a bit. So we kind of segued into that unexpectedly, but like I said, the subject has reared its head on Facebook in the last two or 3 days, and if the allegations of the one party are true in the first example, then this person, I'm not going to use his name because he is a well-known Bigfooter. Some people like him, some people don't. I'm indifferent because I don't even know the guy. I mean, I'll be blunt in that respect. I am indifferent only because I don't know the person. I'm not going to jump on a bandwagon and freaking hang him from a light pole over this, but if he's guilty, then you're on the hook for this, I guess is the nice way to put it. But the other one is more murky without more information. Honestly, I could see it going either way. But it almost sounds based on what has been hinted at, it does sound like it's a gentleman's agreement gone awry. More than an actual, I don't know, or it could be a mutual misinterpretation of an agreement or something too, I don't know. But if the one person's allegations are, I mean, if the person never signed a contract, then it's the speaker's video. Because again, you'd be amazed how many people do not understand copyright law, and it's really not that complicated until you get into the contract side of it. Then things can get messy, but no contract, it's very simple. If you didn't make it, it ain't yours. So that's why if you do want to sell off your rights in some kind of an arrangement, you want to be clear in the details of that contract, because ambiguity is not going to help either party. That's where a lot of these disputes come from. But do a quick pan again just to show the stretch I'm in right now. A lot of like older growth looking forest and kind of a neat stretch again. And the trail has gotten a lot more like soft pine needle covered, and it's a lot more forgiving now than it was. Lots of pines and mountain laurel and these yellow and the yellow leaves amongst the pine. But with all the laurel, you could have 5 squatch standing right here and there. I'd never know. All they got to do is stand still. Watch you walk by, you'd never know, unless you smell them or something. Anyway, enough about copyright. That just popped in my head, so I thought I'd cover it. Other than that, I'm not really aware of any other shenanigans in the Bigfoot community lately. I do want to mention, though, because I did actually have an email yesterday from a former colleague of mine from the Northeastern Sasquatch Researchers Association, aka NESRA, and it turns out one of their members passed away in August. So for lack of other means of contact, I would like to take the opportunity to send my condolences to his family. He was a young guy, and I was kind of shocked to find out he had passed. Not unlike my own co-founders passing. He was a young guy. He was in good shape. I was texting him a week before he got out. He's looking forward to get out. Went into the hospital. A week later, his brother's on his Facebook account saying that he had passed away, leaving me kind of shocked. So, big down tree right there. Every now and then you get a good gust of wind coming through here. Something is definitely blowing in. But, how are we doing on battery? We're running kind of low on battery, so I might, you know what, I'm going to call the video here only because the battery's running low. So, it's a hiking vlog. It is what it is today, more of a casual one than I normally do. But I didn't charge the camera last night when I got back from Vermont, so this is the battery life that I have. And we'll call it a day. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. I don't usually throw out shameless plugs like that, but I'll do it today for giggles. And I guess that's it for the video today. Thanks.